So the latest HP Pavilion x360 convertible laptop comes equipped with the latest Intel 11th Gen SoCs. But let's see if the hype is anywhere real to what Intel had claimed and if HP did a good job in effectively putting this chip in a small form factor laptop. Hey everyone, Mukul here. So a friend recently had purchased this laptop and I had the chance to test it for a couple of days. So of course the laptop is quite sleek with sharp tapered edges around its corners. It's mostly plastic but has a great finish over it and I cannot really nitpick or complain anything about the build of it. It feels premium and has a great build quality overall. And because of these reasons alone, a lot of consumers will be impressed by the first impressions of this laptop. The laptop, as already mentioned, comes with the latest Intel 11th Gen offering. The 11th Gen Intel i5-1135G7 is the core engine running this laptop with 4 cores and 8 threads and with a die size of 10nm for the processor. And the processor claims to have at least 2.4 GHz base speed with a boost of up to 4.2 GHz. And because it's a system on chip, the graphic processing unit is embedded together with the main processor unit. The Xe graphics clocks can boost from 400 to 1250 MHz with a display memory of 128 GB. So what the But during a game test which I will share ahead, I saw the GPU dynamic memory reach up till 2.5 GB. Quickly moving on to the other important specs of the laptop, it comes pre-installed with two 4 GB RAM modules clocked at 3200 MHz. And with a 512 GB NVMe drive in it. On the right, you would find a host of good ports on this laptop though. There is a USB Type-C which supports a signaling rate of 10 Gbps and is power delivery compatible, so you can charge your phone with it. And it is accompanied by an HDMI 2.0 port and a super speed Type A port supporting a signal rate of up to 5 Gbps. And yes, there is also an SD card reader too with an AC pin to charge the laptop, of course. On the left hand side, you have the same USB Type A port with a headphone and microphone combo jack and several vents to push out the inner hot anger of the laptop out, which in my tests ahead were a bit of disappointing. The charger this laptop came with is a 65 watt charger and the battery is a 3-cell 43 watt hour Lion battery. Well, I was able to test the laptop briefly and in 2 hours of my usage, the battery depleted by 35%. So you can expect around 5 hours of battery backup at the same brightness level at least. The laptop came pre-installed with Windows 10 Home and MS Office, so yeah, have fun officing with it. The audio of the laptop is by B&O and is quite decent for its size. I mean, in a quiet room, you'd be quite satisfied with how it sounds, but in and around a fan or an AC or a bunch of people around, the sound can be quite underwhelming. Here's a sample in a quiet room with some traffic noise from the outside, if that can help you judge the character and the sound of the laptop. The display is a 14 inches Full HD IPS panel from BOE and I will post its details on the screen. I could be just slightly wrong about the panel here, but more or less I think it is this only. The panel has excellent bloody viewing angles though. The color spectrum covered by the panel is a mere 45% NTSC, which doesn't even look impressive even on papers. But using in front of me, I think it's quite decent and won't let a casual user complain much about it. But if you are a professional who needs even a moderate color accurate screen, then I would suggest you to stay away from this. The brightness is 250 nits, which also felt pretty average for a laptop in this price segment. And this is something that would also have poor outdoor visibility. The screen refresh rate is 60 Hz, but it feels quite smooth in performance when you are moving windows in Windows. Well, there were little patches of backlight bleeds on the top of the screen, but there were no weird color tint issues overall. The screen is also quite glossy. So after all the touches you do on the screen, you can probably see a lot of fingerprints which will make you feel like wiping them off definitely. What's really good about the screen though is its touch responsiveness. I mean, it just felt really responsive and smooth, and I could really claim that this here is the best thing about this panel. Now, because the laptop can flip and swing and do yoga in multiple directions, having a touch response screen could be worth it. Even though I am not a big fan of the tablet mode UI Microsoft has made for Windows, it could be useful for a lot of people who are already used to it, and I'm not definitely used to it. But I'm not really sure that if anyone would want to keep the laptop ever in a posture like this. I mean, it's just an odd idea for me, but well, I'm pretty sure there are people out there who love to bend themselves and their laptops. I mean, the laptop by no means will ever feel as light as an Android tablet or an iPad, as it weighs around 1.6 kilograms, which is a good weight for the mere mortals which are growing weaker as I make this video. What? So this definitely feels more of a marketing gimmick than anything else, as I really can't comprehend the practical use of something like this. I mean, at least till you can actually detach the screen from its keyboard like in the Microsoft Surface Pro series, but that's not what this is, so yeah. There's a light indicator next to the webcam which shows when the camera is in use, and this webcam can shoot up to 720p for video. And well, I felt the video quality to be terrible, but the microphone performed quite nicely and it actually surpassed my expectations, as I was not extremely happy with the quality of the video. And here's a sample of it.
And this is how the mic will sound in your regular conversations. Of course, this is not my clinic. I'm not a doctor, so don't ask me that in the comment section. And yeah, there's also an indicator on the top on the right hand side of the camera, so to indicate if the camera is working or not.
The touchpad is also quite decent and typical, and there's nothing so special about it. It's like one of those touchpads which you have already used in the past. And I personally feel they could have put a better touchpad, especially in this price segment, but The keys are a fair bit protruding, but are as common as any laptop out there. The fingerprint sensor is quite fast and I have no complaints with its speed, and the overall system boots up pretty fast too, which is one of the best traits of the laptop. Now, when I thought to test the all-core performance of the Intel 11 Gen i5 processor on this laptop, I was massively disappointed seeing how bad the thermal performance was. Yeah, this is my disappointing face. I can't act. Even in winters here, the idles of the laptop ranged around 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, which is just bloody crazy. And as soon as I ran some tests which utilize all the core available on a platform, like in this example, the Blender test, you can see the temps of the CPU rose as high as 95 degrees Celsius immediately when the render started. And hence an intense throttle calmed down the all CPU core clocks from 3 GHz to immediately around 2.4 GHz. Even after consuming about 20 watt of power, but due to the poor thermal design of this laptop, the CPU terribly bottlenecked in performance here. And a similar pattern was visible in the Cinebench R20 test too. And for the more initiated ones, the Fishy Cat render test took about 13 minutes and 41 seconds, and the Cinebench R20 score was around 1500, which is a big meh score. The only game I thought will be fair to test on this laptop was Counter-Strike Go, and man, did it throttle or what. On high settings, the average FPS ranged around 20 to 25, but with a lot of bad stutters. And on medium settings, the FPS ranged around 40, but the terrible stuttering was there all over the place. So this is not a laptop for gaming, even for a game as less graphic intensive as this one. So the laptop is clearly good for all sorts of casual work and work related to MS Office and other similar tasks. I definitely feel with a more proper cooling channel installed on the SoC, the processor could have churned way better performance than this. But as the laptop is clearly not marketed towards professionals who need to do any sort of renderings on the laptop, and likewise for gamers, I can't really thrash HP for the bad thermal solution they have put here. But don't get me wrong, they could have clearly done a way better job here, but well, if a casual user is never going to notice these things whilst working casually, then there's really no one to blame here. Up until this casual user pops in a basic temperature sensor software and wonders why are their idles touching around 55 degrees Celsius on hot summer days. Well, till then, HP is kinda safe with this. But if you know your specific usage doesn't include any heavy usage and you want a good sleek looking laptop with the latest specs written on its paper and has a brilliant touch response on the screen, then you can definitely go with something like this. But I personally won't be recommending this to any of my friends though, as I am pretty sure there are better thermally behaving laptops out there in the same form factor, and just having a sticker of this being the latest 11 Gen Intel, I mean that reason alone can't just justify its price right now. Well, I hope this review was useful to you, and if it was, make sure to hit that like button and do sub for more relevant content in the future. Check out my Discord channel for more chit chats on this or literally anything else. Stay safe, humans. That's all for today. Mewbot out.